Here in IMI, our focus is fuel, tire, and wheel preserving solutions. And so we look at these options that we have, and one of the ways that we do that is wheel refinishing. We're a leader within the industry using a process called MILCURE, which we've set the standard more broadly within the US and abroad, where we take a wheel that is actually at a place where it needs refinish, it's rusted, it's corroded, and there's a lot of issues with it. We don't know if there's cracks or underlying structural problems on it, and we blast it away, get rid of all of that material, and go through and finally get it perfectly restored and ready to be back on the road. You know, as you can imagine, when you look at a wheel like this, where it has a lot of debris and rust and corrosion, you can't actually look at that and be able to determine whether there's cracks or other structural challenges associated with it. So in order to do that, you really have to blast away all this material in order to be able to expose that underlying surface. Once we do that, we then go through a multi-step inspection process where we look at the whole roundness, we look at cracks, look for structural integrity of the wheel, the bead seam surface, and eventually, once we pass all of that, we then move into evaluating the wheel for preparation of an underlying coating for primer, as well as an overcoat of like wheel white in this case. In order to do that, the most important aspects of the coating process is right here on the wheel surface. The thickness of that really matters, because in the instances where there's, say, 20 mils of powder thickness, it actually produces a safety issue, especially as it relates to torquing the nuts and bolts in order to be able to keep that tire fastened on. So in IMI, one of the most important aspects that we consider in our audits and looking at some of the industry participants utilizing this process is how thick is this coating. In the instances where it's more than 3 to 3.5 mils, then it becomes more of a plastic deformation or a material that actually flows. And when it flows, it becomes loose between the bolt and the wheel and the braking area. So as a result, one of the most important aspects is to make sure this is cured to prevent corrosion, this powder is cured. And the second is to ensure that throughout this surface here, and especially around the bead seat as well, that it's the proper thickness. And so in this process, just another testament of why IMI continues to drive innovation within the industry and seek the interest of those who participate in it.